Welcome back to all new Look Back in Amber, from exclusive interviews to interesting inside insights. Since 2010, we've been the best place to be for all things audio for us Newport County fans. Coming up in the next 45 minutes, I'm Lambs and I've got all the big questions.
I'm Stephen, I've got the commentary highlights and I'll be asking about our use of set pieces.
Hi, I'm Luke and I'll have a post-match interview with County Manager Graham Coughlin, and I'll be reflecting on his first month in charge of Newport County AFC.
Also, we'll have an exclusive clip with our interview and chat from Newport's number 28. Oh, such a tease. Never miss a subscribe to the podcast, or make sure you listen live after 3pm on a Sunday or after 7pm on a Wednesday after all League 2 home matches.
Right here, right now. Newport City Radio.
It's going to be a very strange show today, guys.
Yes.
This is not the news setting that we were aiming for. This is a bit of a retrograde step. I would say it started at 1pm on Saturday, but it didn't, did it, Stephen?
No, it didn't.
It didn't.
No.
What am I talking about?
Yeah, well, prior to kick-off, we arrived nice and early in the marquee, and we were pleased to be introduced to what we can only call Welsh royalty.
Now, this is good, but it's not what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Because it's not in the script.
Right.
Okay. Luke's going, what the hell is going on here? Tuesday night. It began Tuesday night at 7pm.
Tuesday night, yes, it did, yep. We were at the Meet the Manager evening, and it was really interesting to see Graham Coughlin speaking. I come out of there feeling two things, really. I thought he spoke really open and honestly about his family situation of Mansfield job, and around that, and about how football impacts on your family. I thought it was a really interesting insight. And the other thing I come out there feeling enthused about was he spoke glowingly about young players, especially Lewis Twamley and Jack Caradogan and Harrison Bright, and it just made me kind of excited about the future under him.
What I took away from it is that he's a really, really good storyteller.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get him in the studio. I'm just going to say, scrap Amber, scrap all the questions that we're going to ask him. Just let him talk. Just let him tell the stories that he's got, because he's got some experience and who he's played, and that the whole Irish link as well, which I was aware of, but not that deeply. So I thought he gave a really good account of himself on that.
He spoke about Paul Sturrock, didn't he? He called him a genius. And he spoke about the World Cup, going over there to watch it with Ireland. So it was a really good night,
which ties into this World Cup, because as you rightly said, it began at 12:45pm.
Yes,
in the marquee, which is slightly in the normal with this geezer. Should we have Dafydd Iwan?
Absolutely.
It's been a mad year, but it's in a nice way, you know. I'm now recognised by more people, but the brilliant thing is that everybody sort of come together and support the Welsh team, and kids included, and the song has helped, because wherever I go I hear the song, and the children sing the song with me, but it's this togetherness that which is really brilliant, and this is the theme that the Welsh FA have been developing over the years, you know.
Together stronger, isn't it?
Exactly.
So talk to me about the song. Let's get the pronunciation right.
It's Ama Ohid.
Ama Ohid.
Ama means here, and Ohid means forever, still, you know. And the idea is that despite bad conditions around you, despite poor things that can happen, we can survive, and we'll go on to better things. I wrote it in the 80s, bad time for Wales, really. The pits are closing, the steelworks are closing, a lot of factories are closing, a lot of unemployment, and the future looked bleak. I said, we need songs to uplift us and to give us hope. So he came along with a few other songs, so we'll survive. I start by talking about the Romans in leaving 383, which is 1600 years before I wrote that song. And I said, look, if we've survived that long, we can survive another 1600 years. So it's a question of celebrating the fact that we're still here to fight another day and to go on to better things.
So how did it get linked to the World Cup and the Welsh World Cup theme?
Well, I think that's the question for the fans, you know. The Red Wall picked it up. And the great thing about football is, and the FAW, is that they've allowed the fans to call the tune, if you like, you know. And they've followed their lead. And Ian Gwyn Hughes phoned me one day and said, look, they're all singing your song before the matches, so how about singing in the stadium? I said, well, we'll give it a go. And they all joined in, And since then, it hasn't stopped.
What has this meant for you personally? Because certainly you're thrust into all the spotlight. It's a social media age. How have you been handling that?
Well, I'm getting on in years, so I don't get excited very easily. But it's great, you know. I'm used to being known in certain circles, so that's just spread a bit, you know. The audience has widened out, but it's something I enjoy, because you know they're doing it for the right reasons, and they're supporting me because they're supporting Wales. That's fine, and it's great that the children are singing it wherever I go, and I just join in.
That's it. Though it's a bit like a rock anthem, isn't it? Singers go and perform their songs, and everybody else sings their songs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know.
Well, have an amazing day today. I know you've got a lot on. You've got to do Newport, Kent. You're over at Christmas lights with us later, so we'll see you over there.
Best of luck to Newport City Radio.
Oh, isn't he a sweetie?
Oh, what a lovely man.
An amazing man. So Luke just asked off air, well, how did that come about? Well, what happened is that he was booked through the Christmas lights. We knew a couple of weeks ago that there was a chance that he'd come over and do Newport County as well. And the County fans were on various social media platforms going, well, he should be over County. I couldn't say a word. And they're like, well, he probably will be. But I wasn't allowed to ruin the surprise. So really good to have him at both venues. He came over to the marquee nice and early, and Adam that was with us, Mr. Pride in the Port, and Mr. Kenty with Pride, said, you should bring him into the studio. I went, oh, he's a busy guy. He's got to go to Qatar. He's doing this. He said, well, yeah, you need to interview him. I went, well, do you know what, Stephen, you were there. I went,
I was.
Get your phone out. Here we go. So again, today is the theme of the show is the audio in between bits and pieces, apart from the manager interview, is not the very best today, is it?
No.
But we need to hear what we need to hear. So I thought you needed to hear off the great man himself. If you wanted a granddad figure in your life, I want to adopt him.
Yeah, that's your man.
And what an amazing bit of success for him to have. And it wasn't like it's not like it's like Three Lions where it's been written and given to the fans.
No.
The fans have actually taken his song and given it back to him, which I think
And I think, to be honest, I think the times that we're in now is such a poignant song, even though it was written in 1983. It's so poignant for the times that we're going through right now as well.
After that, guess what?
Yeah.
It did begin in the marquee at 1 p.m. And it was the NCAA warm-up team with the kids from Newport Corries, who were great. They were always brilliant. A great friend of the show, Mikey Larkin, was there with his little boy and his little girl. And Mike used to do all our jingles and production back in the early days of Newport City Radio in 2008. So really good to see Mikey there. And we got his son to ask a question. He got a bit nervous and a bit shy, so we had to swap somebody else. Charity of the day, Kidscape, of course. It's anti-bullying week. And I wish a few people would actually take a bit more notice of that message this week, because there's been a lot of silly stuff out there, isn't there, which is just distressing to see. And this all about anti-bullying with kids. I think we need to sort the adults out first.
Yeah, we've seen some examples of adults being bullied as well on social media over the last 24 hours. Yeah,
please pull yourself together, humans. That'd be absolutely lovely. There you go. And amazing live music from Rebecca Richards. The first time I've ever met her. Not only she did that, she, like David, they went over to the Christmas lights with us as well.
Oh, there
we
go.
Double booked them all yesterday, and she was amazing. So lovely seeing Rebecca there, and lovely meeting her as well. Continue 3 p.m. at the Compy with you two. And no Chris Chappell.
No Chris Chappell, unfortunately.
Okay, so daddy duties?
Yeah, family duties this week, I think.
Family duties this week. But Chris Lucas, I think, was there on photos. I didn't get to see Chris yesterday, so I hope to catch up with him again. So let's do it. Been very pleased to be in your ears with our look back in amber at this match against Gillingham. Stephen, their recent form. Yeah,
well, Gillingham back in League 2 for the first time since the 2011-12 season after spending 9 years in League 1. They'd lost their previous 3 matches and only had 1 win in the previous 15 matches. Gillingham had yet to win away, losing the last 2, but prior to that they had drawn 3. Gillingham had only scored in 2 away matches this season and only kept 1 clean sheet. Gillingham last played Newport in the EFL Cup in August 2019, which was a 2-2 draw, but Newport won on penalties, 4-1. The 2 sides last met in the league during the 1986-87 season in Division 3. Newport lost 2-1 at home and drew 1-1 away. Newport's last win over Gillingham was on the 29th of April 1986, a 1-0 win in Division 3. And the last time Newport won at home against Gillingham was the 27th of March 1984.
Okay, Luke, from the commentary box, how do they line up for Newport County?
We had Joe Dangle, Declan Drysdale, Prissy Farquharson, who exclusive catch-up with him is now available wherever you get your podcasts. Mickey Demetriou, we were back 3, Cameron Norman and Aaron Lewis. Wing backs, Nathan Rywell, Scott Bennett, James Fraser, midfield 3, Omar Bogle, Will Evans up front. We were unchanged for the second time after we went unchanged last weekend against Colchester. Oh, it wasn't Colchester last weekend. It was after the Stephen Howe.
Stockport. It's catching, isn't it? It's Colchester thing.
It's because we play them so often.
I know,
that's the problem. Okay, another slight change to the show today. The commentaries get sound a little bit different because we use different microphones, and it was a bit noisy, wasn't it, using the new microphones or
apologies
the different microphones. That. No apologies need to happen. So you're going to get the goals, and that's about it. So here's a little bit of yesterday afternoon at Rodney Parade.
So corner now to be taken by Aaron Lewis. It's in the middle forward. It's in there. And it's what a goal! Newport County take the lead. Christy Ferguson from the corner gives Newport County the lead just before half time. It says Newport County 1, Gillingham 0.
What a header by Christy Ferguson. We've had a few chances on corners and set pieces this afternoon. This time as corners he used a bit of a goal machine for them. With things like that, his height and his physical prowess in the box, and he's turned it home to make a 1-0 lead. I believe that's his first goal for the club as well.
Welcome back to Rodney Parade for the start of the second half. This doesn't get so Demetriou now with a throw. 55 minutes gone. In it comes. Norman flicks it on. Oh, it's come off the defence. It's gone in. Wow. Newport County do something that it failed to do this season. Let's get a second goal. And there we go. So as the full-time whistle goes here at Rodney Parade, Newport County 2, Gillingham 0.
As we could hear the fans more than anything else in that little bit, I thought we'd keep the song at the end as well.
Yeah.
So there you go. Stephen said, it sounds like commentary from the 1980s.
It does.
Sounds like commentary when Wales were in the last World Cup. That's what
maybe. Okay. We thought we'd throw it back to the old school style.
So slightly better quality. Luke went and got the post-match interview with Graham. Let's get that on. Let's have a listen.
I thought we thoroughly deserved it, to be fair. We rebelled everything that they chucked at us, each and every one of us to a man. We got a head on every ball that came into our box. I thought it was a real manful, real professional performance from the lads.
That second goal, who did get the final touch? We had it down as an own goal.
I have no idea. The lads are in there arguing about it. I've been given 3 or 4 names, so I've no idea. I know Omar was in the mix, I know Cam Norman was in the mix, I know Prez is trying to claim it as well. So listen, I don't think it matters really. Once we got the second goal, that just gave us that little bit of breathing space that we needed in a tense atmosphere, in a tense game.
Yeah, you said it was tense. Gillingham scrapping for their lives already at this stage of the season. Fans were starting to get frustrated. That goal came at just the right time.
Yeah, we worked a great set piece as well, first off. So I thought we were unlucky not to be 1-0 up. But they had a little spell there where Joe Day pulled off a wonderful save, 2 saves actually, to be fair to him. And like I said, we put our bodies on the line during that little period. I think that was the only period they troubled us. They troubled us in. Everything else we seen out, we dealt with, and we handled. But there's a lot more. There is a lot more to come from this group if they can keep believing and keep growing in confidence. I'm really pleased with them tonight. I'm really proud of them as well. The way they've responded to me coming through the front door. So it's a big victory for the lads, for them individually and for them collectively. But it's also a massive victory for the crowd, who I thought they were brilliant today. I took the song at the end as well. They were getting it going. I thought they were great. It's a real starting to build a real atmosphere at this place, and hopefully we can make it a little bit of a fortress like it used to be.
You scored at vital times, didn't you? Just before half time, and then that second one early in the second half to
Yeah, it was. I thought we started really well the first 10 minutes, first 15 minutes. We had a great little chance from the set piece as well. But then we just came off it a little bit. We stopped doing what we were good at, switching play and getting down the sides and things like that. So the goals come at important times, and we know from past experience. I just look back at the Leicester game. When they scored the goals was it the 44th, 45th minute and then the 83rd minute. So timing is big in football, and our goals today was the timing of our goals today was a big plus for us.
Yeah, given what happened last week, you gave up the 1-0 lead at half time. To get that second was vital, wasn't it?
But look, that's football, isn't it? You're going to win games 1-0. You're going to maybe you lose games from being in the lead. That's football. These lads are experienced enough. They've been over the course so many times. They've seen it. They've been in front. They've been behind. That's just part and parcel of a season of football.
You say you don't look at the table too much. We're 6 points clear of the bottom two now, so we'll make happy reading if you do take a glance.
Well, that's for you guys to be looking at that. I honestly don't see the sense in looking at league tables at this time of the season. That's been quite honest. There will be a team that will come and put a run together that nobody expects in the division. There will be a team that slips. So I certainly wouldn't be looking at the league table at this stage of the season. I know you guys like to look at it and speak about it and bring it up, but that's certainly not on our agenda. We need to get things right on the pitch before we start looking at the tables and positions.
One defeat in 6 now in the league. Do you believe the Newport County could be that team that goes on that run you just talked about?
Again, listen, just dealing game by game. We've got some real good quality in that change room. We've got some real good lads. I keep telling these lads they can be anything they want if they apply themselves properly, if they train properly, if they take instruction properly, if they take the chance, if they cut out the basic, take the chances in front of the goal, if they cut out the basic errors. These lads could be anything they want. It's their careers. What they want for their careers, what they want for themselves, is entirely up to them, and it's how hard and how much they want it. So I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't get too excited with a victory, with today's victory. We'll enjoy the night. We'll get our head around the weekend, and then we'll start again on Monday morning for our next challenge.
Come out to a special live rendition of Dafydd Iwan's Rohid just before the World Cup. That must have been a special atmosphere to walk into.
It was brilliant. Yeah, it was brilliant to hear him. I heard him sing warming up. I was lucky enough to listen to him warming up. But it's a really catchy tune, to be fair. It's a real good tune, and the fans were going at the end as well behind the dugouts. So yeah, it was a real good day, and obviously with a real good send off for the Welsh national team to the World Cup, and obviously from ourselves, from each player in the change room, and from Newport County, we'd like to wish them all the best, and I hope they can go and do a nation proud.
Do we get your support for the World Cup, you being an Irishman?
I'll certainly be looking at Wales. I'll certainly be supporting them. Yes, I'll certainly be wishing them all the best. But I've got much more important things to do here at Newport County than to be sitting watching a World Cup that's off in Qatar with no Republic of Ireland. So I'll look at the Welsh games. Yes, I'll be hoping they win. I hope they do well, and again, because it'll reflect well in the community. So I do hope they do well, and I will be cheering them on.
You move on to Tuesday now. MK Dons away in the Papa John's Trophy. Well, should fans expect to see changes? Maybe some of the younger lads that you spoke so highly of on Tuesday night in the meeting manager evening. Should we see some of them get some time?
To be honest, I've not even looked, I've not even thought about Tuesday night. We'll, again, like I said earlier on, we'll assess tonight, we'll have a look, we'll have a roll call in the morning. We'll get the lads in on Monday, we'll have a look at them, see how they're feeling, see what the knocks, the injury situations are like, and we'll assess from there.
Last one from me, Cameron Norman, he had to go off with looks like an injury. Can you give us any update on him?
Again, he was tight. He was another one who didn't want to leave the pitch, but we don't want long-term injuries, and I've stressed that to the lads tight. So, and you got to remember, these lads have. It's not just the 90 minutes that the fans see them that they put that work in on a Saturday. They work their socks off Monday to Friday, and it's been intense. It's been demanding since I've come through the door, and they will need downtime. They will need time off. They will need rest periods. But for the time being, we'll just have to work through them injuries. Nothing serious. I hope. Touch wood. Nothing serious. I think he's just feeling a bit tight.
Cheers, Graham.
Your County manager Graham Coughlin. Well done, Luke. I like that one.
Thank you.
Really enjoyed that. Your fan in the stands wasn't there this week.
Okay.
I was busy messing a bit with Christmas lights.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. So I had the honour of going over there and presenting the first hour and 15 minutes of the switch on yesterday. So that took me out of the equation for watching the game.
So they kicked off with the main event of the broadcasting.
Well, don't like to talk about it, but yes. So what did I miss?
Yeah, I thought it was kind of a fairly even start. I think County had an early chance. I think, Gillingham got an early opportunity as well. But yeah, I just saw County were really good at getting chances from crosses into the box, kind of at the back post, players running in at the back post. But I thought we would look dangerous from set pieces. And then Gillingham had that little spell which he spoke about where they had a couple of chances. And then I think we got the goal. I think as Graham Coughlin said, timing is everything in football. And yeah, getting that goal just before half time. Lovely delivery on the corner from Aaron Lewis. Parkinson heads home. First goal for the club, which I thought was really good. Gillingham made a change at half time. They took off the right wing back, Alexander, who'd been booked. And to be honest, I think if they'd kept him on, he would have probably got sent off, to be honest. The bad foul on Demetriou. And then they put Dom Jeffries wide right, former Count player, and then he had a good chance early in the second half, but it kind of just went over. And then got the second goal then again from a throw in. I think it's an own goal, to be honest. When I was doing the commentary, it looked like Cameron Norman flicks it on the defender. I think it was maybe Emma or Baggett flicks the ball and it beats the keeper. I didn't really see another touch after that. So we're not really sure who scored the second goal still, 24 hours later. And then, Gillingham, to their credit, they made 2 attacking changes. They were obviously chasing the game, so they needed to do that. They had a couple of chances. I think O'Keefe it was, burst into the area, but Joe Day made a really good save. I think one of the big talking points from the game is the substitution of Omar Bogle. He didn't want to go off by the looks of it, and he wasn't very happy about it. And then he walked down the touchline to the dressing rooms. I'm not really sure what it was. It just didn't look good at the time, and I don't think the fans liked it either. And I just think really it was an important win for Newport County, considering that Gillingham were 3 points behind us with a game in hand, and I think it's given us a little bit of daylight from the 4 or 5 teams that are below us. So that's really, really vital. I think if we had lost yesterday, like Colchester won yesterday, they picked up points. So it was just really, really important for Newport County to win, and another clean sheet was a positive. So yeah, overall I went home happy, apart from the fact that I forgot the microphones. But hey ho.
Don't worry about it. We're here, we're in business. Luke, so what did you make of all that?
Yeah, well, I agree with what Stephen said. I think we started off on the front foot. There was a goal that wasn't sure whether it was over the line or not.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I haven't really watched the highlights back. I think this is where goal line technology in League 2 could come into play, even if it's just once a season. It could be. I
don't think the whole ball went over the line, and that's the big key thing. So I think that's probably why. I think it was cleared off the line.
We started off on the front foot. Maybe could have had a goal in the first 15-20 minutes. We started quite fast under Graham Coughlin. I asked him last weekend against Stockport. We threw out the traps against them. We scored again for the second week in a row just before half time. So that must have had a bit of an impact on both the managers' team talks, both Graham Coughlin and Neil Harris. And second half then, because Gillingham were 1-0 down, they went a bit more adventurous, which then we found gaps on the counter-attack, and we found gaps then trying to go forward as they were trying to push on for an equaliser. Even to the last minute when they were 2-0 down, they kept trying to find a goal, but they just didn't look like scoring. I thought defensively, Priestley Farquharson, Declan Drysdale and number 28 was... is that too much teasing there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay then, Mickey Demetriou, who looked solid. I think Aaron Lewis and Cameron Norman went off with an injury, but as you heard, I just asked Graham, he's okay. I think they look solid. We played a lot more through the midfield this week, which last Sunday's episode we mentioned that we kind of bypassed the midfield and went long from defence straight to attack. And then Will Evans and Omar Bogle, Will Evans didn't stop running yesterday. Yeah. He looked full of energy, which you need sometimes in League 2, just someone who can put themselves about, chase, press. That's key in this league.
The weird thing that the vibe again, you said in the commentary that I had to cut out, Luke, and Stephen, you've alluded to it as well. because we're in the situation where we are in the table, it was a 6 point yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I know it's a bit early in the season to say it, but yeah, like I said, it was really, really important. And it was just such a, like we were saying off air, I just thought Will Evans had a terrific game yesterday as well, running into the channels, and he was causing them problems. He was like winning balls, he was beating the defender to the ball on times. I thought he played really well up front. I thought James Waite did a really good game yesterday as well, or had a good chance to score as well, but he shot over. And and like I said, the defence were really, really good as well, keeping a clean sheet. Joe Day made a couple of good saves.
This could be interesting for man of the match, which we'll come on to in a couple of minutes' time. That's going to be a very difficult decision.
Yeah.
Gonna ask the naughty question, the return of the naughty question.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Will Evans doing a lot of running around. Omar Bogle.
Maybe Will Evans is making up for the lack of Omar Bogle running.
Is that a genuine thing? And again, I've sat here with you two for various seasons, and we've always seemed to knock the number 10. Or no, we haven't, but we've picked up and we've addressed the issue with number 10s and strikers. Just a couple of seconds, so I'll go Stephen first, then Luke. Talk me through the strike partnership position for Newport County as it stands at this time.
Yeah, well, I think we've got a really good pairing, and Bogle's obviously like the kind of the target man, if you like, who we play the ball up to. He holds the ball up, brings others into play. Maybe you'd like to see him use his physicality a bit more. And Will Evans is high energy. I think he's also a big lad as well, so he's up for the physical battle. But I think he kind of runs a lot more. But I think Bogle, it's like last week he was tackling back. I think they were both doing the same again yesterday as well, tackling back for their team. So, Graham Coughlin spoke on Tuesday about his 10K club, where every player's got to run 10K during a game, or they don't get picked again. So he must be doing those numbers, because Bogle I'm on about, because otherwise Graham Coughlin wouldn't be picking him, would he?
So, I'm smiling over here because Luke missed this bit, but after Graham has explained this philosophy of making players run 10K, I don't think it's every player every game. I think don't think it's literally like that, but that's what he's looking for.
Yeah.
Someone turned around and go, "Oi, Graham, what about the goalkeepers?"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's just brilliantly.
He's supposed to run on the spot for 90 minutes.
Well, what was his response to it?
Maybe not those two. They got different jobs to do. He wants his players to do the job that they're designed to do.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just I don't know what our expectations are for goals. We know that we've been through a bit of a troubled time over recent months, and we know that kind of defence is everything, and we're growing out of that now. But it just seems that this is phase 1.2 out the plan coming forward. It's interesting that we spoke to Priestley on this show. He gave us an amazing interview. The one take I took from, well, many takeouts I took from that interview, was that he said that under a previous manager, he enjoyed being managed by a manager that understands that position.
Yeah. Al Sarant, you on about that, the former assistant?
No, this was before.
Andy Morrison and Connors Key.
Absolutely. So he really, really appreciated that. Is this what's happening at Newport County?
Yeah, I think so. As an ex-centre-back, he used to like to get his head on the ball from like set pieces and things, and I think we're seeing it now. I was going to speak about this later on, but we'll do it now. I think we're definitely seeing it from the set pieces. Definitely the centre-backs are going up. They're starting to get chances. I think Farkson's got an assist and a goal now, and the Graham Coughlin.
Potentially 2 goals.
And I think we've seen Drysdale get chances from corners as well. So I think that's part of the DNA of how he wants his team to play. And Rome were built in a day. We're going to see these things slowly, I think, over time. And I think this is one of the things that we're starting to see.
We'll definitely pick up that conversation in a couple of seconds' time. Go on, Luke.
I know why Priestley Farquharson and Declan Drysdale are doing really well at the moment, and Will Evans and Mickey Demetriou. It's obviously the blessing of coming on Look Back in Amber.
Yep.
It's obviously the fantastic
exactly what it is.
Graham in the studio. No!
Yeah.
We've booked him. We're just waiting to find out a date and time to bring Graham in, and hopefully Gavin as well, and have a chat to both of them again, because it's always good to get the manager and the chair in as well. So We'll endeavour to try and make that happen in the next couple of weeks. There you go. I've used the word endeavour. What's happening this afternoon? Right, next question then. So last match, a loss to Newport County, never great. Again, he addressed that in the Meet the Manager meeting. This time a win. Last time Joe Day came into criticism. Luke.
Oh, Joe Day was fantastic yesterday. There was one or two saves where one of the Gillingham players had a shot from about 30 yards out. Where it was a really good shot. I can't remember whether it was a volley or just straight off the floor, but he caught it really, really well. Yeah. And Joe Day had to make a really acrobatic fingertip save.
Yeah, I think it was the right volley, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really good
And this
save.
was half an hour into the game where he hadn't had a single thing to do all game, which just shows he was on his toes, how alert he was. And we've mentioned him many times. You've got Nick Townsend sitting on the bench. If Joe Day has one poor game, I don't want to call it a stinker, but if he has one poor game, then he fully well knows Nick Townsend is in his spot. And speak about Graham's philosophy as well of his, you've got the shirt until you lose it, and hopefully that pressure is on Joe Day, and hopefully that pressure motivates him to do better.
I think it's our strongest area. I think having two goalkeepers that quality. I know they get criticised a lot, as goalkeepers tend to do, but yeah, I think we're really fortunate in that position. But there we go. Right, Stephen, you know my favourite conversation on this show, and that is the use of substitutions.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Talk to me about that yesterday.
Took Norman off, brought Dolan on. Like you said, Norman was feeling a little bit of something, maybe just from the amount of games that he's playing. He's played quite a bit.
He heard Tinty and the Bucket Hats were playing Christmas Lights, so he just wanted to duck off early and try and catch him.
Well, actually, the fans were singing for Matty Dolan just before he came on, so I think Graham, obviously crowd pleaser that he is, he brought him on. But it was a good situation for Dolan to come into, you know. The team was playing well. 2-0 up as well, so yeah, I think, and he did okay, Dolan, you know. It was quite an easy afternoon for him, so obviously he took off Bogle, brought Collins on. Collins had a really good effort towards the end of the game to almost score, but it went wide, which was good to see. So yeah, I thought his subs were good yesterday. He didn't make as many maybe as what he could have, but I think you want to keep that consistency in the team as much as possible, really.
Okay, I'm so keen to move into talking points, but you're just saying so much good stuff today, so I'm just getting questions. Before we get to the man of the match, is this working? Is this settled team that he seems to be picking week in, week out? Is this the secret of the new success?
Yes, 100%, I think. Because he's having a chance now for players to properly develop relationships on the pitch, which obviously they can do in training, and then we see it on the pitch on a Saturday afternoon. And if it's a settled formation, you pretty much know who's going to play. So you know, like in training, it helps in training in terms of relationships, and where people like your Will Evans and your Omar Bogles, where they want the ball, and your midfielders, they have more of an interlinking play with each other, and the wing backs know how to put the crosses, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I think 100% this new settled formation, I have a stat on that. Yeah. Coming up a little bit later, but yeah, I think that's one of the huge driving forces behind the recent improvement.
I think we're starting to thrive under it.
Mm. Yeah, definitely. Like we've spoke about it before, and the relationships, over time are getting better as well. Like Drysdale has come in, he's slotted in really well because obviously it's a settled side. So I think it was really good of him actually after the Stockport game to keep faith with the same players as well. So he's shown that he believes in these players. He speaks a lot about it, and he spoke about it in his press conference. They can be whatever they want. They can be as good as, however good that they can be, as long as what they need to do is cut out the individual errors and take chances more.
I asked the question in the Meet the Manager meeting about how if there's a lack of confidence and these errors that keep happening, what's he going to do about them? Yeah. And this seems there's these little bits of just constantly building confidence in each of his players, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he hasn't been there long, as Luke's going to talk about in a couple of seconds' time. So yeah, I'm really keen on that one. Right, Luke, the man of the match. Let's get moving.
So on Absolute County, you had the chance to vote for your man of the match. Stephen, one name. Who was your man of the match yesterday?
I voted for Farkson.
Yeah, 89% of people agreed with you.
Yeah, I just thought you did a really good game. We could have picked any number of players, to be honest, but Farky for me.
Yeah. Dafydd Iwan was mine, by the way. Thanks for asking. Flamingo Bingo is back bigger and badder than ever. It's a new breed of bingo taking over the UK with live music performances, celebrity guests, appearances, DJs and insane prizes. It's on Friday. This Friday, the 25th of November. Doors open at the Neon at 7:30pm. Tickets available at theneon.co.uk.
Right here.
Right here.
Right now.
Right now.
Newport City Radio.
So, for my talking point this week, I thought we'd have a discussion about our use of set pieces. But before we do that, let's hear from the manager himself, Graham Coughlin.
Both goals today came in and around set-piece situations. That just goes to show how important they are to the way you want to play and the way Newport County plays.
Yeah, we didn't create massive amounts. We had a couple of opportunities, a couple of chances, but set pieces are massive in League Two. I believe, you'll probably correct me, I believe 33% of League Two goals are scored from set pieces. So that's how important set pieces are in this division. We've been strong from set pieces, and we aim to carry that on.
Yeah, I thought he summed it up really well there, didn't he? About how important set pieces are, especially I think in games which are going to be tight or against teams that are difficult to break down. Maybe that I think set pieces are really, really important. And I think, I've just noticed that over the last few games that we've become a real threat from these set pieces. So Luke, what do you think about our use of set pieces?
I think set pieces in League Two are everything. I think the stereotypical representation of League Two is your big 6'4", 6'5" physical centre backs, probably 6'3", 6'4" strikers and you just lob the ball forward and dodgy pitches which help with set piece situations. As Graham said there, 33% of all goals in League Two come from set piece situations. And you look at the players we've got, Mickey Demetriou with his long throw. I think I mentioned in commentary many times, it's like a corner, and it really is, which is important. And then, say, Cameron Norman or someone can win a flick on into someone else, or one of the centre-backs from a header. Priestley, Farquharson, Declan Drysdale are very tall, and we've had both of them in the studio. Declan's tall and Priestley is quite physical, quite strong, which is important in set-piece situations. If we're still going to have a successful season, whatever success looks like at this current stage of where we are on the table, so I think set pieces could be the key this season.
Mr. Lambsdale, what are your thoughts?
I concur with Luke, but I'll add a bit more.
Good, that's helpful.
Absolutely, you can't deny that at this level at League Two, and you've got the stats. It answers the question, absolutely. But how do you get to that stage first? Well, Newport County, for whatever reasons, have not been firing quite the right way. So what has the new manager done? Exactly what we expect him to do. Stop the rot, stop the goals from going in as far as possible. You never know whether you've got a team that's going to be better than you on the day, technically or in any way, but you've got to do your things right. And I think this is what Graham's doing. He's got the defence right. From that then, you kind of you stop losing. And the moment you start losing, you start building confidence. And within that confidence, then, you can start playing football. But the building block before that are the set pieces. So that's something that you can work on in training really, really easily. Yeah. And it doesn't need any opposition for that. You can just work and train and practice and rehearse it. And then hopefully on the day, you never know what's going to happen. But you've done as much as you can. So I think it's being built the right way at this moment in time. So, yes, set pieces are important, but you've got to stop the rot and you've got to build the confidence first.
So I think I alluded to it earlier. I think what we're seeing is, as I said it just now, that Graham Coughlin was a centre-back and I think he scored a lot of goals. I couldn't tell you how many he got from corners. Probably he couldn't either, but I'm imagining quite a few. And I think that's what we're starting to see the team mould into his image a bit more. And I think that's one of the things that he spoke about that he wanted. He wanted his defenders to get on the end of set pieces. We're seeing that now. I think we were doing it under Robbery, but I don't think we were as effective doing it. So, and I don't think we were maybe getting the chances. But like you said, Ian, I think you can see it's like a throw into the near post, get the flick on. Hopefully somebody in the middle or at the back post gets an opportunity. We've seen that kind of happening. Yeah, and I just think it's like we've spoke about. It's really important to maybe get your nose in front in a game, in a tight situation, and that then you can build from that. Then can you? So. I'm just really pleased to see us having a threat from from all over the pitch. We've got, like Luke said, we've got a lot of players who are good at deliveries. Norman, Demetriou, Aaron Lewis, Matty Dolan. We've got a few, who can put in good deliveries from set pieces as well. So yeah, it's good going forward for us, I think. So you can watch live World Cup football with free entry right here at the Neon. It's a family fan zone, and you can secure your table by booking or calling the box office on 533 666.
Right here, right now. Newport City Radio.
Graham Coughlin marks his first month in charge. I asked him about what he's learned yesterday, so let's hear from the good man himself. What have you learned so far in your time with the club?
That a month goes very, very quickly. I wouldn't, and I couldn't tell you whether it's a week or a month. It just the time has just flown in. It's just been flying. Certainly a roller coaster. Certainly enjoyable. Like I say, it's a great group of lads. Real strong core of lads in there, young and old. And when you have good seniors, you'll have good juniors. So I dare say, look, I've got a lot to learn going forward with this group, with this club. But look, we've started okay, just okay. Okay may not be good enough to win prizes, so we need to be better. We need to be better than okay. And I think with this group of boys, I think we could we can improve. We certainly can improve.
Gee, Stephen, where do you think that room for improvement could come?
I thought he answered it really, really well. The one line that he says, which I absolutely love, is if you've got good seniors, you've got good juniors. And obviously he's known for his promoting of young players and working in academies as well. But I think obviously he was at Bristol Rovers. He was a defensive coach to begin with, and I think we're seeing that as well. He's sharpened the team up. I think we've got a couple of clean sheets, haven't we?
I've got some stats to back that up.
I'll wait for you to do that then. But yeah, but that's one thing he's done. What he's really done, which we've spoken about, is he's kept a settled team, and I think that's really, really helping. Not too many changes other than when they're forced through injuries. Took the team to Leicester and gave a really good performance. Went to Northampton and Mansfield, got results, which was really, really positive, I think. So he's done well there. What I liked about yesterday as well, keeping on to the good juniors team, we had 6 players in the team yesterday, 25 or under, and all performing absolutely brilliant. And I think that's a real positive for Newport County. When you've got like Farkey, Will Evans, James Waite, all coming from the Cymru Premier and looking, quality League 2 players at the moment. I think we've done really well there. And I think he's moved these players on. I think Farkey maybe he's had more of a run in the team now because he was injured last season, wasn't he? But I think James Waite's the type of player that he loves, and I think you can really see that as well. And Will Evans obviously up front, we've spoken about, high energy, really playing really well. I think he's honest in saying that yes, obviously there's room for improvement, but as I said earlier, Rome went built in a day, and it's going to be small steps. Like I said, he's only been in charge for a month. We've spoken about him not having too much time on the training ground, so he's getting in his bits in between games as well. So yeah, I think it's been a positive first month for him.
Penny's just dropped over here.
Okay.
So imagine being in the situation of finding out that Newport County needs a new manager.
Yeah.
Thinking, right, well, I want to do this job because he said in the meeting manager interview that he was enjoying the under-23s, but really, really wanted to be back in this position. And what do you do? What does any clever person do when they apply for a job? You research the company, which is what he's done, and you speak to people that might have worked there before. And he took a lot of guidance off Mike Flynn, apparently.
He did, yeah.
So this is it, isn't it? What he's doing, he's channeling Flinny.
I think so.
So he's had a little chat, and this now makes sense because I was always wondering why is he bringing Dolan back into games as much? Why is he bringing Wilmot in? You're bound to, aren't you? You're going to think, right? He's spoken to Flinny. He said you got some great senior pros. Ties in with what you like about him, Steve, and what he keeps saying.
Yeah.
And this is getting that mentality right, isn't it? So you've got these pros that have been there, seen it, done it, and you need to get them working within the team, but not getting rid of some of the fresher talent coming through as well. Priestley, absolute exception to the rule in this one because he was injured and now he's back and he seems to be firing, isn't it? And Will Evans, obviously new to us as well, but he's got this hardcore Flinny-esque players. So probably more of a question for both of you, even though it's Luke's talking point. Is this side more Flinney than Rowbury side was?
He said that he wants to get back to the old ways of Newport County, which is, I think that's what he was talking about, was under Flinney, being difficult to beat, making Rodney Parade a fortress. And I think that's what he's done. And I think we have gone back to kind of how we were under Flinney a little bit. Difficult to beat, not under Rowbury. I think it was, as I spoke about before, it was style over substance, and now it's substance over style. But it's getting results, and I think that's, at the end of the day, that's what matters most.
Speaking of results, I have a few stats to kind of back up what we've just been talking about.
Okay.
So I've only looked in at the league games because stats aren't really available for cup games. Since Graham took over, we've played 5, won 2, drawn 2, lost 1. And that one we lost was last weekend against Stockport. 5 scored, 3 conceded, and 2 of those obviously were against Stockport. Apart from last weekend, we've conceded 1 goal in 4 games, which means we've kept 3 clean sheets in that time, which is the big positive for me. It shows that Graham's shored up the defence, and we're looking a lot more solid now. We have a settled back 3, back 4 if you want to include Joe Day in that, and I think that's really bearing its fruits. And another thing, he's made 2 changes in 5 league games, which is unheard of. He went forward and changed, obviously, if you include the Cup against Colchester. But 2 changes in 5 league games, Stephen, that's unheard of, isn't it?
It was like the first time since under Wayne Hatswell that we'd gone unchanged. And I think, do it in the start of the season. I think maybe Rowbury was just trying to find the right ingredients to get results. So I think maybe that's why he was making a lot of changes. Yeah, I think he's done really well in his first 5 league games. I think James Rowbury came into the team and he started off really well. His first 5, he won 3, drew 1, lost 1, scored 12, conceded 5, but they only kept 1 clean sheet. I mean, one of those games was a 5-0 win against Stevenage, so, that's obviously... But I think I'm right in saying that when he came into the team, that they were higher up the table, and we had Dom Telford, who was starting to score goals, and Baker Richardson. So I think Cotland's come into a totally different situation, and I think what he's done is really, really good.
Encouraged for the future?
Absolutely, yeah.
There we go. Speaking of the future, the Neon will rock on Saturday, 3rd of December with tribute acts to AC/DC and the Foo Fighters. Doors open at 7:30 and tickets are available at the Neon's website.
Right here.
Right here.
Right now.
Right now.
Newport City Radio.
Wow, we're spending lots of time on this today. Hope you're enjoying it and loving the listen. It's time for our 4th player that we've spoken to in recent weeks to grace his presence with us. I think it's about time that we hear from Newport County's vice-captain. What do you reckon, guys?
Yeah, why not?
He just mentioned Mark O'Brien, whose birthday it is
Happy
today.
birthday, Obi.
So happy birthday,
Happy
Obi.
birthday, Mark.
So let's pick up that thread.
Talk us through that game, famous game now against Notts County on the last day of the season, where you famously scored the first goal.
Did I? Did I?
This is
I thought it was 1-0, wasn't it?
This is what we wanted you to say. So you've fallen into our trap. Before this was even looked back in amber, it was called Sport Hour. And Mark O'Brien was one of our first ever guests in it before we got even more closer to the club than we are now. And he is very sweet and very keen to make sure that
we always have
he got you in there.
Yeah,
so
we always say it.
It was his interview, but he basically was polite enough to say,
yeah, he's a class act.
He is. He's a good friend of mine.
Mickey does answer the question, and you can hear the answer on Thursday the 1st of December, 8 a.m. on Newport City Radio and 9 a.m. on Spreaker or wherever you get your podcasts from.
Right here.
Right here.
Right now.
Right now.
Newport City Radio.
Okay, down to business. It's going to get very strange in the world of football for the next couple of games. First of all, it's an away match in the Football League Trophy against the MK Dons this coming Tuesday. Stephen.
Yeah, well, the last time we played them was actually in the quarter-final of the EFL Trophy. We won 3-0. Newport will be looking to get into the 3rd round for the first time since last season, 2019-20, where we got the semi-finals. I think it'll be a 1-1 draw and we'll win on penalties.
I'll say 2-1 Newport.
And then it's a home game, but it's the FA Cup. Only a slight big game against Derby County. Saturday the 27th of November at 3:15. We will be there with your request disco, unless we find a band in between. So there you go. No pressure, lambs, but we'll get that sort of day. It's a 3:15 kickoff, slightly later. Don't tell Chris Chappell.
Yeah, don't tell Chris Chapel.
It's 3 o'clock in Chris Chapel's world, okay? Stephen?
Yeah, I think we'll win 2-1.
1-0 Newport.
We're hoping to speak to Graham and Gavin at some point in between that time. Obviously got the interview with Mickey leading up to it, but then the next game after that is an away game, League 2, back in action, Crewe Alexandra, Friday the 2nd of December. Stephen?
Crewe 15th in League 2, 6 points ahead of Newport in 18th, although they got a game in hand. They've won their last 2 matches though, so but prior to that they only had 1 win in 12. So I'm going to go for I think I'll go for another 1-1 draw.
I know they got Billy Sass-Davis and Zach Williams, who are 2 fantastic young Welsh centre-backs. Hopefully we'll see them play, but hopefully they don't turn up against Newport and we win 3-0.
Okay, and then finally, League 2 action back at home on Saturday the 10th of December. It's Doncaster are going to be the visitors. We will have a great band called Crisis Talks in the marquee. Hopefully we won't need Crisis Talks in the football club at that point.
On our sheet of notes, I just read the words Crisis Talks in the marquee and thought...
We're going to be having Crisis Talks in the marquee.
The warm-up team are in lots of trouble. I need to speak to them. No, they're lovely and they did a great job yesterday. So no Crisis Talks for the team, but Crisis Talks in the marquee, Stephen.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a tricky one. Doncaster doing well, 10th in League 2, only 3 points outside the playoffs. But I'll keep positive, and I think we'll win 1-0.
2-0 Newport.
Thank you very much for taking time to listen today. As always, we'd love to read your thoughts about our thoughts on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram via direct message. We're also on email as well, studio@newportcityradio.org. I will read them, I promise I will. We will catch you on Sunday the 11th of December from 3 p.m. as we look back in amber against the match against Doncaster. More talking points, more banter and another sneak listen to our interview with Vice Captain Mickey Demetriou, which you can catch on Tuesday morning the 1st December at 8 a.m. and as a podcast at 9 a.m.
Right here.
Right here.
Right now.
Right now. Newport City Radio.